For a child to realize that there are adults that speak like me and yet are able to achieve so many great things, and if they're not letting their stutter be the reason why they're not achieving what they want to achieve. Thank you, Richard. Hearing your journey really kind of made me realize that no matter where we are in the world, with the support group that we're trying to create is quite similar. My name is Farah Qaissieh, and I am from the UAE. I started the support group called Stutter UAE, and we've been running it since 2013. I have a very short presentation with some pictures of the achievements that we've done. But until I get there, I want to give you a bit of background on how did it come up and why. So I've stuttered my entire life. I have a younger brother who also stutters, and growing up, it was quite the challenge to stutter, especially in a society or an environment where they're not quite aware of what stuttering is. So growing up, the challenges that I faced wasn't just from my classmates or my peers, but it was also from my teachers, from my elder relatives who, for the most part, did not know any better. So they would mock me. They would imitate the way I talk and all of that. And that really, really got to me. And there was a certain point where I realized that I wanted to do something, but I wasn't sure how or how it will evolve. Fast forward to 2013, when I met another individual who stutters outside my family environment. And we started catching up over coffee. And we both initially tried to hide our stutter and work around it. But when we started talking about our stutter, we realized that by just having a conversation about our day, it shifted how we felt about our stutter. It shifted how we felt about ourselves. And that's where the idea of Stutter UAE came about. What got me to a level where I'm comfortable speaking is in university, I decided that I would start every presentation that I give with, "Hi everyone, my name is Farah Qaissieh and I stutter. Please bear with me." This sentence until this day freaks me out because I am just admitting to the whole world that I stutter. I'm letting everyone know that I speak differently. And bit by bit, that gave me back my voice and it dissolved the fear. For my brother, for example, that was a completely different approach for him. He would channel whatever he felt through art. And that's how the basis of Stutter UAE came to life. We wanted to create an environment, a safe space for people who stutter to get together, to know each other, to support and empower one another. With that said, I will share my screen. There's a brief video that I'd also like to share, if I may. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear the audio. All right. Growing up with a stutter was challenging. My classmates who would bully me or bother me about my stutter, I had teachers that did that as well. So in that period of my life, yes, it was very challenging. When I started university, that's when I decided to take it upon me to challenge myself with my stutter and break out of the shell. Stutter UAE was started because I wanted to create something that wasn't available to my
10-year-old self, my brother, and every other person that stuttered as a child, not knowing what it's like or if there's anyone else that stutters out there. And I want to shed light on that segment of the community that feel alone and strongly try to hide their stutter. I want to change that notion that it's okay to stutter. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's merely an accent that we have, and we should own it.
Sure. So that was in in brief about Stutter UAE and how the vision of it started. Initially, the first, I would say, 8-9 months, we would have monthly events, and not a single individual would show up. That really frustrated me. That really put me in a defeat mode. But then I had to sit with myself and look back at myself. I just recently back then, I became comfortable with my stutter. And I'm sure many people out there are so afraid to admit that they stutter. So it would take them time. So we kind of shifted our approach from welcome people who stutter and their families to welcome people who stutter, full stop. And that made that shift. That made people first intrigued to join. I had a few people that would come to the coffee shop that we're meeting at, but won't sit on the same table as us because they still want to observe how the setup is, what's happening before they come in and go like, I'm one of you, I'd like to join. And we were very, very welcoming. For us, what really made the difference was we don't look at it as a speech impediment. We are not trying to reach fluency. We are trying to get people who stutter or have any form of disfluencies to accept it. And the way we went about it is it's part of who I am. I stutter, that's how I speak, and it's my accent. And that's why we have a hashtag where whenever we host our Awareness Day event, it's celebrating our accent. And that's when people started to say, yeah, people might not understand my stutter, but it is how I talk and I'm okay with it. It is my accent. And then people began to be more open about it, more aware of it. And from there, from going through like so many turbulences to hosting the first Stuttering Awareness Day event in the region, in the MENA region, back in 2015. Having a short film documentary made about the initiative that went to the Cannes Film Festival, that went to the Malmö Arab Film Festival in Sweden. All of that just re-emphasized the importance of the community work that it's done and the importance of us working together as a community to better the well-being of everyone. With that said, since COVID, we have kind of slowed down in terms of the activities that we've been doing, mainly because a lot of people would still rather meet face to face, and that has been a bit challenging with the majority of people being in a different city than the base of Stutter UAE. We did launch in partnership with the speech care center in Portugal, an online speech therapy center to help people to get access to world-class speech therapists at the comfort of their home. And it's called iStutter Center. All of that really made me realize how important it is for us to continue raising awareness for stuttering, for different impediments. I had so many people that come to me and tell me whether they're members of the group or they're just people that were fascinated by how the evolution of the initiative was, and they wanted to do something similar back home. So we'd work together and help them establish something in their hometown where they were heading back to. So there is the Stammer Circle in India, where myself and a few other members help the individual, the founder, to establish something similar back home. Our message is a message of empowerment, whatever it means for them. And during our awareness day events, we would have segments dedicated for people who stutter to go on stage and either share a story, do a comedy sketch, um, whatever they need to challenge themselves. And it's never something that is forced on them. It's something that is offered, it's optional. And the 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 beauty of that is you get parents who are that come to us with them being concerned for their little kids who are 5 years old, 6 years old, because of their stutter. And then we work together, not necessarily on a specific program, but to have them um, sit in our events, our gatherings, our meetings, for a child to realize that there are adults that speak like me and yet are able to achieve so many great things. And if they're not letting their stutter be the reason why they're not achieving what they want to achieve, it changes something in them. We had a child as young as 5 years old go on stage on one of our stuttering events and for 5 minutes explain to everyone there with an audience over 100 people on why he loves his stutter. What does his stutter mean to him? And seeing that and looking at how I was back when I was a kid really put things into perspective. Um, on our smaller gatherings that we usually do bi-weekly, um, if we're lucky, we'll get 5 individuals. And that for me, especially if someone who's like for someone who's been doing this for so long and not seeing that kind of momentum within the smaller groups demotivates me. But then when you see a child who is more open about his stutter than I ever was, um, makes me reassures me that there is progress happening in the world, and with communities all around the world, like each and every one of us here, that are doing what they can in the capacity that they have to support not only themselves, but their friends, their colleagues, their society, and to create that safe space for people who stutter is truly, truly inspirational. I wouldn't have thought back in 2013 that I'll be sitting here with so many inspiring people that are as passionate about stuttering as I am. And to me, this is just inc- inc- incredible. Um, so I'm so thrilled for what the future holds for the field of stuttering, for people who stutter. Um, and what I would like to focus on in the coming near future is providing support for parents, not just parents in general, but parents who stutter, because with our stutter comes a challenge. With parenting comes the challenge of parenting, and adding a stutter or a stammer to that, it just from my own personal experience makes me feel like, will they take me seriously? Will I be able to um, guide them and teach them if my speech is not as fluent as others. And that's the area I'm currently exploring, because I realize that every phase unlocks something within me as I'm helping, or as I'm sitting in those meetings, because every individual has so much potential, and whether it's their stutter or any other thing that they feel is limiting them to achieve that, uh, is an area where I find joy in unlocking, because it's something that I unlock within myself as well. Um, the journey so far got me to be the voice of people who stutter in the UAE. And as amazing as that is, I keep telling everyone, we are all ambassadors of stuttering. It is on us to make that change. I can't expect someone to understand what stuttering is or how to treat me as a person who stutters if I'm not willing to have that dialogue about how I feel, how it makes me feel when someone completes my sentence, when someone does X, Y, or Z. And for me, I think that's the beautiful challenge in everything that we do, especially that we are addressing the 1% of the population. I just want to share some community pictures, if I may. And for me, it's very beautiful to see that. And I promise you it will not take long. So this is when we first held the Awareness Day event, the top left picture. And then some gatherings that we have. We usually have an event in Ramadan, but this year we haven't held it. It's just communities getting together. And then this is the documentary. This is when the initiative Stutter UAE was awarded the highest civilian award in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi for the positive impact it's been doing in the community. And then here, just us having so much fun in our Stuttering Awareness Day, and just celebrating it. The last picture that I'd like to share is, this is the wonderful team that made iStutter Center a reality, that helped us help and support people from all around the world to get access to online speech therapy at affordable prices. That is it from my side. I think this is the most that I spoke at a continuous period without questions or anything. So thank you. And I hope that everyone anywhere all around the world are safe and are staying healthy and well. And thank you once again for the opportunity. And I look forward to hearing from the rest of the speakers.